Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we've got the last two trades that happened on July 1st recap. We're looking at a player swap between the Montreal Canadiens and the St. Louis Blues, plus a blockbuster deal involving number 6 on the end-to-end hockey trade bait list, with both these deals coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey channel. Now before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this without all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Don't forget to leave a comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And don't forget to stay tuned for more videos coming out later. But in today's video, we've got the last July 1st recap stuff. Today, looking at the last two trades that happened on July 1st. And there were two very interesting ones. We'll start with the one that happened between the Montreal Canadiens and the St. Louis Blues, as it made a player swap. The St. Louis Blues traded Zach Bolduc to the Montreal Canadiens for Logan Mailloux, a very intriguing move. We'll start with this one from the Habs side. The Habs are loaded on the defensive side. They have Dobson, Goulet, Xhekaj, Struble, Hudson, and a whole bunch of other guys who are really solid defensive prospects. Ryan Bacher's another one. So they had too many blue liners. Like, not all of these guys are going to be able to be everyday defensemen in the Habs organization. So with that in mind, they were able to move off some of their surplus in Mailloux, and even though they probably think he does have a pretty high ceiling, they do wind up moving him as they just acquired Noah Dobson. There's really no need for him. They acquired Zach Bolduc. Bolduc is a winger, 22 years old. He's in the final year of his ELC. Bolduc, after having 9 points in 25 games, had his first taste of NHL action, I think 2 years ago. Last year was his first full season at the NHL level, putting up 19 goals, 36 points in 72 games. He looks like a very legit goal scorer. He was the 17th overall pick back in 2021, so he was a former first-round pick. So I think it's a pretty good pickup here for the Habs. Like, Bolduc should slot into the middle six, be a really good scoring winger, be able to put up, like, at his peak, maybe 30, 35 goals. And I definitely think Bolduc's going to be a fantastic player for the Habs. And even though they have to move off one of their better defensive prospects in Mailloux, I do think Bolduc's going to be able to help them here and now after a brilliant rookie season last year in St. Louis. For the Blues, it was the exact opposite. They don't have a whole bunch of really good young defensive prospects, and they have abundance of wingers at the NHL level. So they moved Bolduc, who just has first rookie season. They have Neighbors, they have Holloway, they have a couple of other young wingers. Snugger's another one. So they didn't really need Bolduc, so they moved him. They got Logan Mailloux. This is a stunning pickup here for the St. Louis Blues. Pretty good pickup here. Mailloux was the 31st pick in the 2021 draft, so he went 14 spots lower than Bolduc in the exact same draft. Also in the final year of his ELC, $875,000 AAV. Also 22 years old. So lots of very similar stuff between Mailloux and Bolduc. Mailloux is a right shot defenseman. He got his first taste of NHL action last year, putting up 2 goals and 4 points in 7 games after he had 1 assist in 1 game the year prior. Mostly AHL player last year, but he got 12 goals, 33 points in 63 games at the AHL level, and looked like a really phenomenal D prospect. So I'm not sure if Mailloux will be able to crack the Blues lineup this year. It's a possibility he could be a third pair defenseman. I wouldn't be surprised if he started at the AHL level, but I think in time, 2 to 3 years, Mailloux is going to be a stunningly good offensive producer in the top 4 for the St. Louis Blues. And even though they did have to give up a potential 30 goal scorer down the road, I definitely think Mailloux is going to be a solid, at least 40 to 50 point consistent offensive defenseman for the St. Louis Blues. So a very interesting swap there as the Blues acquired Mailloux from the Canadiens in exchange for Bolduc. And then we saw another very intriguing deal, a massive blockbuster between the Canes and the New York Rangers. The trade is as follows. The Canes acquired RFA Miller in a sign-and trade, a 8-year contract with the AAV of $7.5 million for the RFA defenseman. He gets dealt to Carolina. In exchange, the New York Rangers acquire Scott Morrow, a conditional 2026 first-round pick, and a 2026 second-round pick. A solid move from the Hurricanes. Apparently, the reason this deal happened is that the Hurricanes were threatening to offer sheet RFA Miller from the New York Rangers. So instead of just getting draft picks and at a set price, the Rangers are able to finagle a deal here, a sign and trade, and they are able to at least get some more things back. From the Canes side, it makes total sense. They have 2 first-round picks next year thanks to the Mikko Rantanen deal. So they have the luxury of potentially moving off one of these first-round picks. Like, that's something a contending team with Carolina can definitely do. They also move a second-round pick, so sure, you move a first-rounder, you move a second-rounder. It's not going to be overly great, but still not overly bad price. They also give up young defenseman Scott Morrow, who is just about to start breaking through into the NHL scene. So they do give off a couple of interesting pieces, but they get K'Andre Miller. They just lost Dmitry Orlov this past offseason, who was a top 4 left shot defenseman for him. So they needed someone who could really replace him. K'Andre Miller is 25 years old. He's a left shot defenseman. A $7.5 million AAV, I think, is a little bit of a stretch. I definitely do think that, but it's an 8-year deal. It'll take him until only he's 33, so it's not bad. I'm definitely not sure if he's a $7.5 million defenseman, but this past year had 7 goals, 27 points in 74 games. Really solid defensive-minded defenseman after he had 30 points the year prior and 43 points the year prior to that. So he was going down production a little bit over the past little while, but I do believe that Miller is going to be a solid top 4 addition here for the Carolina Hurricanes. He can fit in their top 4. He can play with a guy like Gosper or Walker, whoever he does want to play with, and I think he's going to boost that top 4 of the Carolina Hurricanes tremendously. I think even though the contract's a little bit much, this is a solid pickup here for the Carolina Hurricanes. For the Rangers, they were never going to sign Miller to a long-term deal, which is what Miller wanted. There was a threat of an offer sheet, so instead of giving Miller up in an offer sheet, they're able to make some sort of a sign and trade work, which is fantastic. They get 3 pieces here. They get Scott Morrow, the young defenseman in the final year of his ELC, has a $917,000 AAV. He's a right shot defenseman, 22 years old. This past year had a goal and 6 points in 14 games in Carolina. Really his first taste of NHL action after he had 13 goals, 39 points in 52 AHL games. Also got into playoff time due to injuries and didn't look completely out of place. So I would not be one bit surprised if Morrow was able to carve out a role in like the 3rd pair for the Rangers this year. And I think long term does have the potential to be a solid top 4 right shot defenseman for New York. So I definitely do like that sort of move there for the Rangers to get Scott Morrow, and they also get 2 picks. So the condition on the first round pick for the New York Rangers from Carolina is it's a 2026 first round pick. As I mentioned earlier, the Canes had 2 first round picks thanks to the Rantanen deal, both Dallas's and their own. So basically it's a top 10 protected first round pick. If neither of those picks are in the top 10, the Rangers get the better of them. If one of them's in the top 10, they get the worst of them. If both of them are in the top 10, they do get the worst of them. So it's sort of based on the top 10 projections and where Carolina and Dallas finish in the season. But either way, the New York Rangers will be receiving a first round pick, an extra one next year. And they also get the Hurricanes 2026 second round pick. So they get an extra first round pick, extra second round pick, and a very fantastic young right shot defensive prospect who I think eventually could be a fantastic addition to their top 4. So even though they had to give up K'Andre Miller, it's not an awful return there for the Rangers. I do think long term they could really like a guy like Morrow, and definitely think they could use those picks or trade them away for value. So we shall wait and see on who wins this deal. Personally, at this point, I do think the Rangers win this deal, because I definitely think a first, a second, and a really solid prospect for K'Andre Miller is a haul for the New York Rangers. But if Miller works out quite well, I could see that wind up being a winner for the Carolina Hurricanes. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Well, that's what I'm going to talk for today. I left your guys' thoughts. Who do you think won the Blues Habs deal and the Hurricanes Rangers deal? Definitely your thoughts on all of that down in the comment section below. That's all I'm going to talk for today. Remember to like this video. If you're like to subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to with all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Also a blog to news, rumors, analysis. If that's, remember to check that out. I'll link that down in the description below. Cannot wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.